A big win from Ukraine puts them right back towards the regions that we've seen Turkey have on the leaderboard, but I don't think it's going to be enough to close the gap, Felix. It's still a big step towards qualification here. Top 5 is what they need. I think they're probably in second right now.
I think it should be enough for second, including the placement points. I think it was 20, 23, 24, 24, 25 points, maybe even. And that should catapult them up towards the 40, 45 point mark. Maybe even above that, maybe even close to 50. So it should definitely be enough. Either way, I think we all knew that Ukraine was going to be one of the favorites in this tournament to take one of these 5 qualification spots. And I wouldn't say I was concerned, but I was concerned for a tiny bit there, because we've seen teams that consistently try to hot job and contest teams in a best of 12 fail because of that. And I was so happy to see them not do it and get the win in the very first round they didn't. And I don't know, that just warms my heart, because sometimes ego gets in the way of qualifying for such a big tournament. And that just, I don't know, that would have broken my heart. So good to see Ukraine coming back.
It's also a good way to win the hot drop, is just by doing really well when you're not hot dropping, right? Because staying in the tournament is what matters. Now, we have a leaderboard for you guys after that match 4, and that's going to show Turkey still sticking into first. 65 points for them overall, 50 eliminations in 4 matches. That is, to me, that's absolutely mental. And then we have Ukraine in second, 52. And then 10 points off to France. So a 13-point gap to second and a 10-point gap to third. The top's really running away with things here, Felix.
Yeah, Romania and Bulgaria, 28-26. But yeah, as you said, top is running away with it at the moment. 65 points in Turkey and Ukraine on 52. It's going to be really hard to catch these two. But just 2 games remaining for today. I think today, Turkey might not even be caught. I think something crazy would have to happen for Ukraine to catch up to Turkey, and so far they haven't really shown us any signs of slowing down. So it's going to be really, really tough. And it's going to be tough for all these teams. Talking about the second part of the leaderboard, Spain, Montenegro, Serbia, and Germany. Germany's had a little bit of a comeback, but they've yet to perform in a top 8. They have not secured a single placement point. And yes, the first couple of games have been struggled. I mean, they have struggled massively, but as I said, just last game, they've shown us that they can fight, that they can win hard jobs, even when losing a player early. And that's what I want to see throughout the next 2 games, especially. Maybe catch up to that 20-25 point mark, because at that point, it becomes very realistic in terms of catching everyone else in the top 5 tomorrow.
Yeah, 0 placement points tells you quite a lot about how their games have gone. But
yeah,
like we said before, I think it's not impossible for them to make them move up the top. It's just a matter of how good can you actually get your games together, right? The threshold has now moved from 24 to 28. So nothing has changed materially, but you would also have to expect these teams to change themselves materially. And there's one team that I'm kind of looking at, which for me is Serbia. That's a team I did not expect towards the bottom here. We've seen them pull off crazy things in the last World Esports Championship. They're one of the teams that I'm looking to at least push into the top half of the scoreboard.
Yes.
But we'll have to wait and see. The guys are going to Miramar, and we're going to see 2 Miramars to close out the day today. So things are going to change up a bit. We're going to see a different map. We're going to see a bit of a different pacing, Felix. And the players are in the air. The planes are crossing the map. I think it's a pretty even plane just from what I can see right now. And 2 more chances to make their stand on the scoreboard here tonight.
As you said, Serbia, I think, to me, the biggest upset as well. Seeing them that far down the leaderboard is something that you just wouldn't expect. I mean, they have 2 players literally coming off of EWC, money makers, and these guys have qualified for the World Esports Championship just last year as well. I mean, we met them, I think, in multiple tournaments now, actually, on there. And these guys are just so very talented. They've shown it on the international stage. They've shown it on the regional stage. They've shown it at Esports World Championships, literally. So for them to be that far down is, once again, a huge and massive upset. Don't expect it to continue being that way. I think at some point it's just got to pop. These guys are way too talented individually to just miss their chances time and time again. But you only have so many to go off of right now. It's only 8 more chances for you to make it happen. And this is, this is one of the last ones for today.
Second last chance for the day. Looking a little bit spicy there over at the Armenia versus Albania side of things towards the north, towards Cruz del Valle. And We have Serbia in a little bit close contention around the Chumacera area, but not looking like a whole lot of hot drops. San Martin looking pretty hot for me as well. France there. So that is one of the hot drops. We are still watching the champions of the last match peacefully cruising into Valle de Mar, and nothing could make me happier than seeing a Valle de Mar team do well. But there's the hot drop I talked about, and this is an awkward one. This is a hard to control one. There's a lot of buildings in this town. There's a lot of snakes you can step onto, and it's not one that you can get out cleanly most of the time.
France find themselves in a hot drop for the first time. Going to be interesting to see how they handle it. So far, no one was really able to handle France in direct fight. I say that, but they also haven't really met the top teams. Actually, never mind me, I think just in last game, haven't they met Hungary? I think it was Hungary as well. They've literally met Hungary in the very last game on that edge, and were able to take down two. And this time around, it's going to be Victor starting things off. Takes down one of the players. G-Pro. Gotta wait for the next round, and this is a good entry. This is what they need. Yeah. But yeah, coming back to it, I mean, except for the really last fight towards the Ruins Edge, just in the last game, there wasn't really any team that could fight against France without at least losing players.
Albania losing one as well at the same time. And then I think we've seen Germany in the kill feed having a really tough go at it as well. So there's a few teams already fallen by the wayside. Ironically, we're seeing more hot drops on the bigger maps than we did see on SAM. So that's definitely a change up. Not something I would have expected, but is the way things went. A few shots coming up for Spain as well in the Impala area, but that's also not looking like a super hot drop. That's looking like a bit of a peaceful neighborship. But Endry is still looking for that roof, Alex. And now he shoots. He doesn't connect, and he does give his position away.
More shots from Albania, looking to find any kind of opening. Just hasn't happened until now. And Romania in an equal situation. A similar situation for Spain. Both of these teams do still need big rounds. Spain more than Romania, but just haven't able to do so. As we said, it's going to need a big round to make a move on the leaderboard now. Both these top teams running away with it, especially 2 out of these 5 spots realistically already being secured by these top teams. They will not slow down. So I kind of feel like it's a fight for these last 3 spots now. And I feel like you'd agree. It's a spot for these last 3 kinds of positions, with so many more contenders around France, around Bulgaria, around Serbia as well that might come into the mix later on. There's going to be massive announce of clutches needed for all these other teams to make it happen.
Touros finds one back, makes France work for it at least, drops down to exactly 0 HP. But he's looking to find more. He doesn't want to run away with it. He doesn't have a first aid. He has to just find a cheeky opening somehow. But yeah, like you said, France, one of the teams that I'm definitely seeing in that top 5 any single time. They're looking so convincing right now. But a hot drop is something that even a top team can lose. And even if they don't lose it, losing a player or losing 2 players here would be disastrous.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Touros, unfortunately, doesn't really have any kind of heat left. He's going to be taken down. Snoix did actually get the first bit of damage, but immediately traded it with the DBS. That's not really a way to lose this. And look at this. They spotted unknown. They don't even wait for the flash. They just immediately go for it. This is really good positioning or just really good aggressiveness coming out of France. And they just pre-fire that corner. Navala from the far distance is going to take him down. It's a clean pickup coming in from France. And as you said, even these top teams can lose hot drops. But France doesn't let that happen.
So clean with it. So clean and controlled as well. You saw the extreme off angle he takes on the stairs there, right? Nobody expects him to just sit in the middle of the stairs with an Uzi out. But they don't go for the 1v1. They don't run up the stairs. They don't take control of the stairs alone. They wait till they're all together. And then even when they know where he is, they wait to enter that room as 3. And that's how you stay clean in these, and that's how you stay controlled. Now, Romania, they're well spotted here. They're well aware, Spain, of where Doran is playing from, but he still gets the better of them. still comes out ahead, and he's going to try to close that out with a nade. Now, that's an awkward angle for him to re-peek into. He's 1 HP, but the nade's so good. Doran takes 2, and he's sending Spain a la casa back home, back into the lobby.
Lawrence now looking to secure and shut down the hopes of Spain once and for all. Axel is now dropped down. There is a play in the distance. Oh, wow. What a pickup from Crazy. He's going to be able to take him down. Lawrence is there for the trade, though. And that should be it. Done and dusted for Spain. There's one player in the far, far distance, but nowhere close. He's not going to be able to deny these flashes, and definitely not going to be able to deny the rest. Spain looks like they're in shambles at the moment. They need to come back in the last round of the day.
Not in a position to do anything about this. Armenia, on the other hand, they've been in this hot drop for a long time, and now they've had Poland come in and say hello as well. Not happy to let them scrap it out. 3 kills already on the Armenian squad. I think Poland's a bit ruined the party here. It was the Albanians versus Armenia. But Poland says, well, we want a bit of a piece of the pie as well. I'm not sure if they got away with any kills, but they've definitely gotten their attention and a whole lot of bullets thrown towards them.
Talking about bullets thrown towards them, Belgium has been one of the teams that's unfortunately received plenty of bullets. They haven't been able to do anything so far in this tournament. And qualification continues to look all the more unlikely. But it is early in the round. It is early in the tournament itself. We are not past the midline mark yet, obviously, with the first day of the qualifiers still running. But 6 more chances tomorrow might not be enough for some of these teams. That's a massive shift. Almost no one expected it. Good stuff from France. I expect France now to be really fast in the rotate. So far, that really hasn't happened.
I think that road cap in this.
Oh, yeah, that might be, actually. The one team that's really rotated is Belarus.
I feel like I think France might have. Oh, I don't know if they were just looting or not. I don't know if they were setting up a camp. If they set up a camp, then this circle made them realize, okay, we have massive amounts of priority here on a lot of these compounds, and we will move. But that would have been a really successful road cap if they stuck around for another 30 seconds. But easy for us to say when we do get the map feed. Poland finally getting a few of the kills here, looking to close this one out, but they have paid the price already. Down to just 2 members here versus a solo of Albania, and wide in the blue as well, Felix, when we have just seen how much space there would have been in that circle for them to take.
Yeah. Could have been such a good round for both of these teams if they weren't caught up in this really just not worth it fight. They could have both had prime positions right next to each other and potentially secured placement points at the very least. Maybe even had a chance of winning this one. Obviously, way too early to tell, but at least there would have been the chance. Hammer gets taken down, though. He's going to go for the flash. That means Cat can just push across the open field. He's looking for the flash. In theory, he would have the big disadvantage. Then M249 on the other side as well. UMP, though, in both hands. 6 bullets left, and he hits all of them. My goodness, Cat has just clutched this out, but is it really a cause for celebration? I'm not so sure. Yes, Poland has had a couple of good games, but they need to stay more consistent than that because teams are coming up to grab your spot.
This is not how they wanted this to go. That is for sure. They were hoping to get a few kills and stay 4 up. That is 100% certain. Wasn't meant to be. Bit of a, I mean, again, we talked about, right? It's not hard to win a 2v1, but it's hard to win it cleanly, and they don't do a great job at it there. They completely split themselves up. 2 different angles. Fully open approach for both of them. So not really what you want to see from a team that will stay clean and consistent throughout all these games. Moldova losing 2 as well there. We saw that in the kill feed. It's one of the big dogs losing numbers, and it was Romania as well who picked one of those up. So they're really making steps in these last 2 games here, Romania, and they're really trying to pick it up where they left off.
Croatia. Gotta be careful for not losing Icy here as well. As for them to Belgium, we said they wouldn't need a big game as well. And interestingly enough, they just took one down from Belarus. The want to say one of the only other really centralized teams. I'm sure how that happened with them having a fight literally inside their own compound in Minas on their own, but somehow it did. And Romania, on the other hand, so looking for that eastern rotate as well. Now we have it, Belgium. They've literally just secured a knock, but it was, once again, onto a completely different team. It was not against Georgia. Must have been a really fun knock towards the western side. But now you can tell they've grouped up. They want to make this happen. They want to flush Georgia out of their compound. Is the correct decision to do so. And there goes the first one. Somehow Jump does not get... How does he not get that frag? Unfortunately, his movement just being too good for the time being. And Tello, he's being allowed to get another knock, actually. Jump now takes him down. It's going to be diffused, that danger. But... man, that was way too close for comfort. I felt like Shelby almost got flushed there. If he would have jumped through the door frame, well, he had that nade in hand. It maybe could have been disastrous for Belgium, because you do not want to lose a player in that instance. You just do not want to lose a player.
No, he had a free opening, but he wasn't able to capitalize. A team that hasn't been able to capitalize today is Luxembourg. They haven't really had a whole lot of great games, and it's not looking like one this time around either. Players stuck in the blue, bandaging up. Players in the tire pop compound way outside of the next play zone. Not sure if they have a car here either, so not looking super hot for the Luxembourg guys, but they have shown up and they have come to play, and they'll get more chances in further matches. Czech Republic, they're in the circle. They're in a position to fight here. They're in a position to play a good game from, but they have Romania on the other side, so they have to be really careful about this. And there's Turkey on the back lines, and well, talk about hard games. You get yourself stuck between Turkey and Romania, you're not going to have a great time.
Yeah, you're not going to have a long time either, to be honest. You'll just be flushed out. You'll just be taken apart, because that's just Turkey's game plan so far. And it goes against Luxembourg as well. Laura taken down now too. I think that's the second knock against the Czech Republic here. And against Luxembourg too. Excuse that mishap. I don't even think that's what Turkey's been fighting against. Actually, it might have been a knock on both sides. Either way, Romania being there in the distance might not let Czech Republic cross, depending on the positions they play. I think that's the first player already getting some amount of damage. And we have France now fighting against Ukraine as well. So fights happening all around. Once again, it is that ominous phase 3 to phase 4 shift that has always historically shown us a couple of teams going out.
It's France on the left side of the kill feed again as well. They were not only winning their hot drop, they've picked up a kill since, and now they've picked up a kill towards Ukraine, one of the top dogs in the lobby. I think there's a second knock there as well. There's a chance for them to actually move in on this and punish and try and close it out. Look at this. Armenia is in the compound, and France is the one pulling up from the outside. Ukraine, at least, closes out Armenia, but they have taken 2 knocks and a flush already. France wants this. France wants in. And they want to close it out. They want to take out the competition where they can, where they're weak. This is a good opportunity to do so. And they could do the trick, but they don't have a perfect idea of where these players are. So, again, the challenge here is to try and be fast, but not lose a member. That's not always easy.
No, definitely not easy. Revives has gone through as well. That's a big nade, though. Robs, he found the correct building. They were testing around which building the players would hide out in, and they've just found it. 2 players go down immediately. Tulikar trades one, has the option for a second one, but the shotgun just too strong. S12K, we've seen it become more and more meta, being the stronger weapon in this instance. And Ukraine, as a result of that, being taken down outside of the placement points, far outside of the placement points as well, towards direct competition, though. That's the good part.
That's big kills to get, big scalps to take. That's the way you climb up that leaderboard. Serbia now, they have so much work ahead of them, but they're instantly losing 2 here as well. It's Montenegro getting the better of this fight. It's not looking good at all. There's 1 shack to play here for Melas and the rest of the squad. Oh, it's disaster already. They're trying to flood around the side. Maxa comes around with the UMP. Maybe he can do the work, but they're already bleeding members here, Felix. It is such a mess.
Yeah, and they're being shot on the back as well. Montenegro is going to be able to pick up the majority of these kill points. And Serbia just cannot get into this game. They cannot secure any kind of points so far in this this qualification stage. Biggest upset, I said it before, I'll say it again. Biggest upset so far in the qualification. These guys have qualified last year. These guys have shown us individually literally, since last year, even bigger performances than what they had, I want to say, during the entirety of their career up until this point. They've never qualified a big international event. Now, with Old Boy, that has changed. They have qualified. They've become one of the best teams in Europe and in the world by qualifying, obviously, towards EWC. Now, them losing 2 players in the qualification would be a big upset. And as of right now, that's exactly what's happening.
Turkey, frag heavy so far. Quiet start for them, considering they've lost Silas and they only picked up 2 in the process. What a nade from Doran. Brings the pain right to the doorstep. Loxy has a pretty good off angle, but we'll see what he can do with it, as Romania is not looking to slow down. They have a player knocked, but they want to converge on this. They want to close this out, and that's the second player down. That's a 2v4, 4v2 if you're looking from the sides of Romania. It is a very, very winnable fight, and you would love to take that to Turkey right now.
Yeah. Question is, how do you engage this? Right? Yes, you could isolate them, but how do you really engage this? And that's a big nade coming back towards Lawrence. That's going to slow down that push even further. And Turkey's now got a good idea on who they're facing as well. So they have a good idea on how they will continue to play it. And that's the first one. He's trying to open an angle, and they're already ready for it. They're not getting caught off guard here, not at all. Turkey is very ready for this fight, despite only playing 2. Despite only being 2 players up. And that's the next knock going down. This is falling apart for Romania at the moment.
It's not clean. They have a good setup on this as well. They have the player far providing some cover, but the players close are just getting caught. They're just losing the fights. Doran now is the one that has to try and put some pressure down with these nades. And if you can maybe find a knock that way, that's exactly what he needs. He trades a bit of damage for a knock. Now it's going to give him the chance to get a res, and that's going to give Romania the chance to get both reses here, actually, you can see. They're not quite sure here, Turkey, if they want to continue fighting this. I'm not quite sure. I think he's going to try and get him the hell out of there. But they are going to stick it. And they are going to try to reset it after that. Now, Doran, he's gotten the first res, which means the players can now res each other. Lawrence can take care of that. And he can come back with pressure and the nades. Oh, my. He's been clean with it this fight, Felix. He's been carrying them this game.
He has been. Doran goes in. Has 12k in hand, and we've talked about this weapon. It's unbeatable in close range proximity. No chance. Romania's going to pick up 10 frags after they've just clinked out Turkey. And to be honest, Romania, I know some haven't had that team on the cards as strong as they're playing right now, but I look back at it and I'm thinking, why didn't I either? I wouldn't even put them in the top 3. Top 5, yes, but top 3... potentially not so much, but they're playing like they do belong there indeed. And this fight has just been a good indication of that. Good shots, good fighting. I'm excited to see them play throughout the eastern side now, because they've got so much space now. This is the second team they cleaned out, and there's not really anyone left. And that's phase 5 now. Look how much space they have. Once more, look how much space they have. They are in the same position that Turkey was before in terms of taking control of a round.
And they stayed clean. That's the big thing. That's the big thing. Now, everybody else on the map. You see how many teams are watching? 2 players, 3 players, 1 player up. It's just so hard. There's another fight in the kill feed now for the Romanian squad, but there's multiple teams engaged in this one. Croatia wants to have a say in this as well. It's a close range 1v1 versus the Czech Republic. But it's a bit of a reset. It's a bit of a breather. You can see Blue. He wants to take that fight so bad. But there's so many angles to cover. There's so many different approaches to worry about. And without them finding the opening knocks, this is going to be very, very tricky here for the Croatian squad.
Yeah, it really is. They need to find a knock towards the top side of the ridge lines. They can have at least some kind of maneuverability. But Shaitan is holding that down pretty convincingly at the moment. He has to be careful of getting pushed towards the left-hand side. Navalov hits the headshot. That is massive. And that goes and plays straight into the cards of the Czech Republic now. And look at how much more space they have because of that knock, because of Croatia is getting knocked as well now. You can see Robs with the perfect position. He should secure that knock. Somehow Robs can't seem to land the shots. Actually, he's been knocked as well by Croatia now. This is a 3-way fight, and it's not turning out pretty for anyone.
But look who's coming out on top again. It's France. Yes, they're taking knocks here, but they are the ones coming out on top so far. 2 up for Czech Republic. Not a whole lot of space left for them to control. And even though it's a messy one, it's a tough one for the France squad to take, they have been able to take it. And 12 elims so far, Felix. They've been in this kill feed for a long time, and they've been in it regularly here. And they've already rewarded themselves. And once again, we'll talk about records and stuff. I'm not sure if they're going to get 24 here, but this is already a double-digit point game here. And they're not looking to stop anytime soon.
No, oh, he gets caught. He was trying to be sneaky. But Teflon has been spotted, and Doran's going to take him down as well. Doran on 8 frags. I think that's the most we've had on any player outside of Turkey. I think maybe even including Turkey. But just to say that, Montenegro has an angle on him. Takes him down too. He's not flushed just yet. I think the angle isn't quite right. But might only be a matter of time. Montenegro uses that knock now to rotate on it. And I think they might even try to engage this. Look at this. Rogo is trying to at least close the distance. He's found a spot in the circle now. But he has
I was going to say, I'm not sure if Exo has an angle on him. Yeah, I don't think he did, and he thought he could just play there, but Exo just says no. And he's going to try and put a whole lot of pain down there, a whole lot of pressure on him. Where does Romania go from here, though? They've now been slowed down considerably. Oh, and I love this. Just take the 1v3. Yes, it's not a good pull-up, but it is a 1v3 regardless. You just fly on in. You're hoping it doesn't go massively awry. There's the first, though. Can he find the second? And he can. And oh, no, they didn't take the 3v1. They took a 2v1, Felix. And it's just been absolutely put back into their face. It's on all sorts of wrong. What a hold.
What a hold indeed. Montenegro. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that they would be able to turn this around? Especially since I said, you know, in the middle of this round, maybe like 2-3 minutes ago, they had control over the complete eastern side. And that whole skirmish happened with France and all these teams, Czech Republic towards the northern side. And at that point onwards, it just seemed to crumble. And it really did. That means also more opportunity now for the rest of the teams to pick up the pace and get closer to Turkey and Ukraine at the top of the leaderboard, especially France. And now we've talked about France time and time again. Nothing's really changed. 13 frags. They're playing super methodical, super disciplined. And this time around, they have the zone as well.
Yeah. And, well, they've taken the zone, right? Remember where they were? North of the road, taking a fight towards Ukraine in the compound, fighting their way on in there, then taking a fight towards Croatia and the Czech Republic at the same time. They've been working for this. They've been putting in the hours. They've been putting in the work, and they're rewarding themselves with points as the zone shifts on in. I've been talking about France so much that somebody in chat is asking, is France your favorite team? You know, it's hard not to talk about them, though, because
it is.
They are playing super clean, and they're playing super collected here. I feel like they've definitely been the most consistent team out of everyone. Even Turkey has had quiet games here. They've had a quiet game 1 and a quiet game 5, even though they're first place right now. France hasn't really done that. France has picked up numbers every single match. And that's something that's we talk about so much as casters, and it's something that's super important if you want to be in a top 5 in a lobby here.
Yeah, to be consistent, you have to actually be consistent, if that makes sense. So.
Oh my God, that's inspirational.
Yeah, that is inspirational. So all these teams, just a couple of more stuff to think about, I guess. Navalov with that nade is going to take down the last player. And they will secure 14 points in the process. They have already secured placement points, obviously, top 4. And as of right now, I think everyone's going to be favoring them. But there is still Belarus, and they've got a 4-man running around in the distance as well. And they are, as opposed to France, actually inside the circle. Problem for them is, though, they've got a couple of players all around them, and that is Azerbaijan. Oh, he might just get up there in time. Yes, he does. Oh, that is so very cheeky. Good stuff coming out from Tenchik. He barely just missed Azerbaijan, taking him down. He was already being shot at, but the way he drove that vehicle upwards was at the perfect angle. They couldn't shoot inwards.
That's crazy.
He's not only found himself a good spot, but he's also able to get out of there alive. And that means Azerbaijan now is in a bit of trouble. And I've talked about Azerbaijan, right? We've talked about them every time, but predominantly in the early phases, because they just seem to lose player every single time. This is the first time they haven't lost a player in the early game, and look what happens. 9 frags and a top 4 finish already. Azerbaijan now looking strong.
I'm going to have to say, I've been loving this 21-team PUBG, because what it does mean is when you get to the end game, everybody has frags. Everybody has big numbers on the board, because there's just more players that you have to kick out if you want to make it to that late game. Now, like we said, that drive up there, as clutch as it was, it's a big problem for Azerbaijan. That player is just minimizing the amount of movement they can get away with, and is making it so hard for them to play out the rest of the game here, because teams from the other side of the circle, like a Montenegro, they're not stopping. They're not hampered by this. They're not put in their place by the Belarus squad. So bit of a disadvantage for Azerbaijan. And we'll have to wait and see what they can do. But Belarus is taking the fight to France. That's a double knock.
That's a double knock, and look at this. Gunplay might even get out of there alive. I think he just rotated down the ridgeline just outside of the players from France, and that means he's got a pretty good position now to make something up against France. And look at these nades. This is perfect. Robs might be able to have a say in this, but he gets taken down as well by Tenchik. Gunpain could seal the deal now for Belarus, and who wins this edge, and it could all fall apart for France in a matter of seconds. But he lays down, and it looks like he's going to have to heal, I guess, before he's throwing the next nades. Might be a big mistake, because if he would only know where all these Plants players are positioned, I think he'd take a different position and a different decision as well. But yeah, France continues to be in big trouble. Gunpain with an nade towards Robs. So he's now being on the front line, trying to deny any of these advances that are now coming in from Belarus, and Belarus is playing this one so smart. Not overcommitting, doing just about enough damage to kind of keep France from branching out even further and having a say in this round, but not enough to throw away the round.
Yeah, good composure there. Also, like you said, right, there was one more nade in the inventory of Gunpain. He could have maybe lobbed that one out, but not taken the 1v2, at least straight up, was a really wise decision. Now you can see that fight, not fun for France at all. That one player on the high ground makes it so hard. Potentially on that top angle just makes that fight so unfair if you're on the side of France. But he has to come down now, and you could see that Azerbaijan have a good idea of this. They know that player has to come down, and they want to catch him. You can see it on the minimap. The shots are coming out, and that's a big knock and a big confirm here. That puts numbers strongly in favor of the Azerbaijan squad, we haven't even seen them in the late game yet, Felix.
Yeah.
And now they're looking clean with it.
Yeah, Azerbaijan has just never gotten to late game. I think that's why we're also surprised here to some degree. They've always fought in the first phase, and I said, this is an interesting game plan. Continue playing that way, despite it not working out 3 games in a row. Might be a little bit risky, but you said, man, this also goes to show they have confidence, and that's what they have. Azerbaijan finally showing us why they are so strong in these late game scenarios. If they get there, and once again, 12 frags is a testament to that. One more nade coming out from Gunpain. Yeah, it's been spotted in the meanwhile. But then again, it's only really him and Striker. This guy's making the backlines, but he needs to hit this one. This might be such an important knock. He barely survives. Somehow Azerbaijan keeps playing with 4 players. If that knock would have happened, and maybe Navalov would have done something on his own, which he does now. Clutch goes down. This is all open now. Even without this knock, I'll take it all back. Navalov has just shifted the opportunity for Azerbaijan to grab an easy win.
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed to not happen. And it's so tricky. You're playing versus solos, you're playing versus duos. They will try to be sneaky on you. And if they catch you in the wrong spot, if they catch you on the wrong foot, then suddenly your game is so much harder. 3 versus 2 versus 1, still entirely winnable, but they've used all their util. They've used everything at their expense to try and take out Belarus here. They don't have a whole lot left in the arsenal. You can see 2 first aid, and that's it. Nothing to throw, nothing to boost with. They need openings here, and they need kills, but the numbers are in their favor, Felix, and there's a big help from the French player. Again, Navalov takes down 1. He makes this so much easier. Gunpain doesn't even know where to look. That should be the clear here, surely. Keystones takes a bit of damage, comes over the top, but he wins this one, and now it's a 1v3 that's almost unwinnable. I didn't want to count it out before it happened, but that's Azerbaijan running away with the win.
Azerbaijan. We have seen these guys get taken out very early, and I want to say all the rounds. I think it actually has been every single time
all but
that we've
one.
Seen them that it's been in the early game. And phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. That's really where the problem started to arise for Azerbaijan time and time again. They tried to make a fight happen early on. They try to isolate players and teams. And yes, sometimes they work to some degree. We remember that fight against Belgium, but not without losing players. And that kind of diminishes your chances of actually winning the round. So I like what they did here. They were finally able to survive it. they fought themselves through the late game. They were very smart on it as well. Look how Belarus was able to focus on them, but because the crossfire on all these positions between the Azerbaijani players worked out so perfectly, they never lost a player. And when they needed to strike, they did. Right when Belarus was in trouble against France, against all the opposition on the eastern side, that's when they strike. And yeah, it goes to show you, even a team that maybe you don't expect has the potential to come back. Good in Azerbaijan. That's a massive win as well. I think 15, maybe 16 frags is going to catapult them up the leaderboard.
That's the thing I want to point out as well. They were in 17th place before this match. And look where they're going to be when we look at the scoreboard before the last match, because they're going to be right up there, and they're going to be right in contention for qualifying to the World Esports Championship, just because of one game, and just because they've played this one game to perfection, right? And that's what I'm trying to, what I've been trying to say for the whole tournament is everybody can pop off, and if they do, it's so close. It's so close. There's so many chances you get, and you take one or two of them, and suddenly you're close to the pack. So. Really good work from them. I think we saw the play up the mountain, the car play that pretty much won them the round, right? That was the key moment. Or I'd say that's the key moment that almost lost them the round, is what I'm trying to say.
Almost lost them, yeah.
But they managed to just slow it down until the mountain's out. The mountain's out, we catch that player, boom, we have all the advantages we want. So beautiful stuff from them, and like I said, should be a massive jump on the leaderboard.
Yeah, I thought Belarus, with that move up the mountain by 10, I believe it was really going to secure this one. Ladies and gentlemen, we will take a look at the leaderboard, but after a quick break. So we'll be right back in a couple of minutes as usual.